Hello everybody and welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the 2006 Golden Corral 400 and the fifth race of our 2006 NR2003 season. Casey Kane in his McDonald's Dodge starts on pole position alongside Mark Martin, who has been unbelievably consistent start this year. Top 10 in every race. Behind them, Greg Biffle, Dale Earnhardt Jr., your 2004 champion, and four-time champ Jeff Gordon restarts in fifth as we are green and underway here in the great state of Atlanta. Who will bring home the victory? So the great state of Georgia. This is, of course, Atlanta, the capital of Georgia, as we are underway here in Atlanta. Casey Kane leading, Greg Biffle second, Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon will do battle for third as Kane leads the way. Can Biffle make a move to the inside lane here? Makes it happen. Greg Biffle, a great run through 3 and 4, and the 16 of Greg Biffle will drive his way into the race lead here in Atlanta as he gets around Casey Kane, and Biffle leads the opening lap of racing here in Atlanta. As we get underway in this race, of course, Biffle, the defending race winner from the playoff race at Atlanta a season ago. Now Casey Kane flies by in the inside lane on lap 14, and now Casey Kane, your new leader in Atlanta on lap number 15, passing Greg Biffle for the lead, and he's now in control of this race in stage number 1. But now later in the race, Joe Nemechek gets into Robbie Gordon, gets him sideways, almost spins. Robbie Gordon able to save it. It's a little moment there. Luckily, everyone's able to save it. Casey Kane ended up checking up back here as your leader due to that traffic, but he is still leading. Now on lap 56, Casey Kane is on pit road for scheduled green flag pit stop at the end of stage 1. Casey Kane is in for service, so that will now cycle lead out to the Roush duo of Greg Biffle and Mark Martin down this back straightaway. So now what will Biffle and what will Martin do? Mark Martin will come down pit road this time by. The 6 is in his AAA Ford. Mark Martin comes down to pit road for service. And so now we'll give the lead out to Greg Biffle once more. Now on 57, Biffle will now come in for his scheduled green flag stop here at the end of this opening stage of racing. Biffle is on the pits, and now we'll see who cycles out to be the race leader. Jeff Gordon follows him in. The next car would be Kyle Busch, but actually looks like the next car in line, there's a whole bunch of cars back here. It looks like it's going to be the 18 of J.J. Yaley, followed by the 5 of Kyle Busch. They take the lead, but the caution is out on the racetrack in the middle of a pit cycle. This is going to change everything. The caution came out because Casey Kane, your leader coming into the pit cycle, wrecks with Clint Boyer, your leader. Kane wrecking with the rookie of Clint Boyer, who's having a rough start to his season. Oh my goodness, what a turn of events here. And then Clint Boyer gets absolutely walloped by Matt Kenseth, who cannot catch a break since he won last episode either. Then McMurray piles into Boyer, Carl Edwards. So that's 3 Roush Racing cars collected an incident that wasn't even their fault, piling into Casey Kane, who was so dominant in this first stage, and Clint Boyer. And all of a sudden, Casey Kane's hopes of winning have gone completely down the toilet. And then Roush Racing going to lose 3 of their 5 cars right here. Kenseth, McMurray, and Carl Edwards all slamming into Clint Boyer. All 3 out of this race, as is Clint Boyer. What a turn of events here late in stage 1 in the middle of a pit stop cycle. And Yaley currently is the leader, but as we cycle back out and we get back underway on lap 62, it'll be Greg Biffle, now your leader, alongside Jeff Gordon. You see the list of cars out of the race. Clint Boyer will finish last place, as he did in the Daytona 500, in 42nd. Carl Edwards wrecks out in 41st. Matt Kenseth 40th. Jamie McMurray 39th. Mayfield 38th. And for some reason, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a mechanical failure. A header went on Dale Jr.'s car when he was running top 5 all day. Jr. will now be out in 37th place. That's your Daytona 500 winner. That is a shame, but it's Greg Biffle leading the field late in stage 1 here in Atlanta. Just 10 to go in stage 1. Greg Biffle leading over Jeff Gordon. Got 3 wide back here. Paul Menard making his first start of the season for DEI, racing with Kyle Petty and Jimmy Johnson. As you go off into 3 and 4, and Paul Menard into the wall, full speed. Paul Menard trying to be Ross Chastain with the Hail Melon up here on the outside wall. You know, it might be about 16 years too early, but Menard trying to rip the fence does not go the way he planned, and he will lose tremendous track position. Greg Biffle out front, 9 to go in stage 1 here in Atlanta. Now, last lap of the stage, Jeff Gordon has just made the pass on Greg Biffle, coming across the start-finish line. The last lap of stage number 1, Mark Martin will pass Biffle as well for a second. But it looks like it's Jeff Gordon on cruise control to his first stage win of the 2006 campaign. Of course, last season, in our most recent race at Atlanta in the playoffs, he did win a stage as well at a lot of laps. Trying to do that once again. Jeff Gordon wins stage 1 here in Atlanta. Mark Martin second, Greg Biffle third, Kyle Petty fourth, Ryan Newman is on the top 5. Then Reed Sorensen, Kyle Busch, Bobby Labonte, Casey Mears, and Kurt Busch, your top 10. Jeff Gordon, your stage 1 winner here at Atlanta. Now we got back underway in stage 2 on lap number 78. Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin alongside each other on the front row as we're back underway. Behind them you have Greg Biffle and Kyle Petty in the 45 having a great run today. Inside the top 5, got good stage points that first stage. Greg Biffle, of course, so they're looking at their most recent Atlanta race winner. But this race this season goes won by Brian Vickers. Vickers just struggling today, a few laps down. Just not going the way he wants it to, but Greg Biffle going the way he certainly wants it to, as he'll easily drive into the race lead, passing Jeff Gordon in turn 3. And Greg Biffle, your new leader in Atlanta on lap number 79, but Jeff Gordon going for the crossover. Going to turn 1, Jeff Gordon going for the switchback on him. We're 3 wide. Further back here, you got Sorensen, that is, Mears, and Kyle Petty. As Jeff Gordon now makes a brilliant move in turn 1 and 2 on the inside lane, and he will pass Greg Biffle back for the race lead. Jeff Gordon back to the point here in Atlanta, 80 laps into this race, but now in lap 86, Gordon goes a little bit too high, opening the door for the 6 of Mark Martin to take the lead in his AAA Ford, and that's exactly what he will do here on the inside. Mark Martin to the lead in Atlanta for the first time today, as he gets by Jeff Gordon and Greg Biffle, leading 87 laps in. Now into lap 105 here, Martin, Gordon, and Biffle approaching lap traffic. You got Jeff Burton here, Kevin LePage, Dave Blaney, Jeff Gordon to the bottom. Here comes the 24, side by side for the lead, Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin, and it'll be Jeff Gordon taking the lead on the inside lane with a great shove from Greg Biffle. Gordon to the lead here in Atlanta as he tries to find his way into victory lane 1, finds his lane for the victory time for the first time this season in the 2006 campaign after having a 2-win 2005 and being so close to winning his 5th title. Now, here on lap 107, a few laps later, Dave Blaney gets punted into the wall by Mark Martin. A huge moment there. Well, Mark Martin luckily avoids taking himself out in the process. Dave Blaney in the wall. We stay green. Now Greg Biffle's gotten the lead back from Jeff Gordon on lap 109. So the 16 of Biffle now leading the way here in Atlanta. But now Mark Martin on pit road on lap 115. The 6 is in for his scheduled stop here midway through stage 2, which gives the lead to Greg Biffle and Jeff Gordon. The ensuing lap, Jeff Gordon will come down pit road on lap 116. Gordon now in for service for his scheduled stage 2 pit stop, and so of course I will leave Greg Biffle out there on the racetrack, stays out an extra lap. Now at 117, your race leader Greg Biffle is in for service from position number 1, and that will now cycle the lead back out to what should be the 18 of JJ Yaley, the rookie for Joe Gibbs Racing and the Interstate Batteries Chevrolet, is going to be leading his first career laps in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, as he gets by Greg Biffle with the strategy on pit road. Now Yaley comes in for service, and now it's Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin who are racing each other right now as this all cycles out. The question is, where will they come out in relation to Greg Biffle on the racetrack as we scroll through everyone here who's out on the racetrack. You got Reed Sorensen there, Kyle Petty having some good runs, Kyle Busch. But it's Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, your 2 leaders right now. But in front of them, that is the 16 of Greg Biffle, has come out on top in this pit cycle. He comes out in front of both Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon, who split Brent Sherman 3 wide. What a move. But it is still Greg Biffle leading here in Atlanta. But now look at Mark Martin. The 6 has to run into turn 1. Here comes Mark Martin on lap 119. And the 6 back to the front. Mark Martin takes the lead away from Greg Biffle with that pass right there. Great pass. But now, lap 140, about 22 to go on the stage. Jeff Gordon taking advantage of the lap cars of Kurt Busch and the children's duo of Harvick and Jeff Burton. Gets to the inside of Mark Martin, and Jeff Gordon is back in front leading here in Atlanta with just 20 to go in stage 2 with lap traffic all over the place. Now lap 143, 2 laps later, still Jeff Gordon leading, Mark Martin trying to catch back up, and there's smoke ahead. Possible trouble. What's going on? Everyone's checking up, going to 3 and 4. Big stagger. Oh, we got cars in the wall. That looks like it's Bill Lester and Scott Riggs, and now Jeff Gordon gets spun around. Your leader wrecked on the other. Scott Riggs just stumped Bill Lester. A massive head-on impact to to the outside wall for Bill Lester in his first career Nextel Cup Series start, and Riggs just holds him right up against the wall all the way through the corner. They come down the track, and then Jeff Gordon gets spun from the top lane, clips Mark Martin in the process. What is going on here in Atlanta? Is Jeff Gordon got ran over by David Stremme. A little bit of ARCA brakes right there. Sends your leader spinning and gives him damage. What a turn. And now here we got more trouble. There's Greg Biffle spinning to the pit road head on into a pit stall. A horrible impact for the 16 of Greg Biffle. A massive hit. Denny Hamlin, the rookie in the 11, also goes around with a pretty significant hit to the end of the pit wall. Greg Biffle is destroyed, but you got to keep note of what happened here. This happened after they crossed the start-finish line, so technically that was under caution, and with the way this Better Cautions mod works, I was able to disable collisions on pit road and collisions under yellow, so therefore that crash for Greg Biffle and Denny Hamlin does not count. It does not register in the game, so they basically get a second life, which could be huge, as Mark Martin now inherits the race lead on the last lap of Stage 2 after all that madness with Scott Riggs taking out Bill Lester, Jeff Gordon getting dumped from the lead, Biffle and Hamlin crushing the pit wall, but because of the settings of the Better Cautions mod, they get a second life, and now Mark Martin through 3 and 4 for the final time is going to get his first stage win of the season as Mark Martin wins Stage 2 here in Atlanta. Biffle across the line second. Kyle Petty is third. Fourth place, Dale Jarrett. Jeff Gordon runs your top 5. Reed Sorensen is 6th. J.J. Yaley 7th. Paul Menard 8th. Bobby Labonte 9th. And Kyle Busch earns the last stage point. So Mark Martin wins Stage 2 after Jeff Gordon won Stage 1 here in Atlanta. Now you get back underway on lap 166 here. Going to be 95 laps to go. Greg Biffle and Kyle Petty, the cautions are already out. Ryan Newman and Brent Sherman phase together on the restart. Newman gets your defending champion spun around. Heavy bumper damage. Brent Sherman's number 49 is destroyed. His day is over. And the caution comes out just like that. A classic Better Cautions Auto Stages NR2003 glitch that we've seen so many times. Now Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin lead us back to the green here, lap 170. Look at the run from Paul Menard on the inside lane, but it doesn't mean anything. Caution is out again. Another wreck before you even get going. That's Jeff Green and Robbie Gordon, who absolutely phase together, as do Hermie Sadler and Dave Blaney. The 66 and the 7 are stuck together, probably making a car baby, as they are both completely destroyed in turn 3. And what a wild turn of events, a wild turn this race has taken here in Atlanta. The chaos really starting to come out here in Stage 2 and Stage 3. And now Mark Martin, if you finally are able to get a restart off, as we're back underway here on lap 174. So this will be with 87 laps to go here in Atlanta. Mark Martin easily clear over Reed Sorensen, Paul Menard, and Jeff Gordon, who are 3 wide for second behind him. You see the long list of cars out of the race. Of course, Bill Lester, Casey Mears is out, David Stremme. You also, sorry, not David Stremme, it's Brent Sherman out in 34th, and you got Hermie Sadler, Dave Blaney, Robbie Gordon, the 66 of Jeff Green. So now Mark Martin leading, but now here comes the 41 of Reed Sorensen, the rookie, looking for the lead. Here on that 176, Sorensen, who, of course, took over the 41 car from Casey Mears after he went to the flagship number 42 for Chip Ganassi after Jamie McMurray's departure. And now Reed Sorensen leading what's going to be most likely his first career lap here at Atlanta. Reed Sorensen fighting Mark Martin for the lead. Who would have thought Sorensen has had a quietly impressive day today, running top 5, top 10 all day. Got stage points both stages, and now right when it counts, Reed Sorensen has taken the race lead here to Atlanta in his Target Dodge. Unbelievable. Reed Sorensen to the race lead, not for long. Lap 193, 68 to go. Mark Martin takes the lead back from Reed Sorensen. The AAA Ford in control of this race. Now lap 195, 66 to go. Greg Biffle on the inside lane making it work, and Biffle will go to the point, and Biffle will take the race lead here at Atlanta as Jimmy Johnson still trying to unlap himself in 11th. So now here we are, 63 to go. And in turn 3, and Jimmy Johnson just dumped David Stremme. The 40 goes head on to the outside wall. Jimmy Johnson just completely wrecked David Stremme for apparently no reason. The 40 is destroyed, and a costly mistake for Jimmie Johnson, as that could cost him racing his way back on the lead lap. And now J.J. Yaley's pitting from the lead here on the restart with just 58 to go. So Yaley comes out. Now it's going to be Paul Menard and Mark Martin on the front. So Paul Menard leads his first career lap here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and was probably, I believe, only his second or third career start here in the Nextel Cup Series. Menard to the lead, but not for long. Mark Martin easily drives right on past him here in turn 1 and 2. So Menard loses that lead pretty quickly with that damage behind us. Jimmie Johnson trying to come down pit road. Some other guys, so we decided to just automatically threw a yellow out of nowhere right there for, I don't know why I actually did that though. Very questionable decision on my part. Mickey Mouse yellow. Mark Martin leads now on up 207. Menard and Stewart have some contact, a little bit of phasing together, nothing too bad. They should both be able to continue without, any really problems in their race. So now it's Kyle Petty and Mark Martin on this restart here. We have 53 to go, and now here comes Reed Sorensen, 3 wide for the lead at Atlanta with just 53 laps to go. Reed Sorensen, Mark Martin, Kyle Petty. Who is it gonna be? Absolute, but behind us, Kyle Busch is in the wall. The 5 of Kyle Busch got shoved up into the wall. Lost some spots there on the racetrack. A little bit too aggressive for the sophomore driver, but at the front, it's Mark Martin clear for the race lead with 52 to go in Atlanta. Now with just 4 to go, Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon are pitting. They're out of gas. Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon don't have enough fuel to go the distance. It is Greg Biffle now cycling out to the lead with just 3 to go. Now 2 to go, coming to the white flag. Does Greg Biffle have enough fuel? He's been the one to stay out long all day long, and I think that's benefited him here. White flag in the air. Final lap at Atlanta for Greg Biffle, who is about to steal this win from Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon, who ran out of fuel and had to pit. And this would be consecutive victories at Atlanta for Greg Biffle. He won it in the playoffs a season ago when he was already eliminated. Now he's going to win it at the beginning of this 2006 season through turn 3 and turn 4 for the final time. You see Mark Martin just up down the road in 7th. Greg Biffle on strategy is going to win at Atlanta. He has done it. His 8th career win. Jeff Gordon comes home a lap down in 8th. Reed Sorensen comes home career best 2nd. Denny Hamlin 9th, a lap down. Kyle Petty comes home 3rd. Then the rest of the grid there, you got Paul Menard in 4th. Sorry, not Paul Menard. That is J.J. Yaley in 4th. Dale Jarrett runs out your top 5. Bobby Labonte 6th. Mark Martin 7th. Gordon 8th. Hamlin 9th. And Harvick a lap down in 10th. So that's your top 10. But Greg Biffle wins the Golden Corral 400 here in Atlanta, leading 53 laps. And this is his 2nd consecutive Atlanta victory. So this is his 8th career win. And that ties him for 53rd on the all-time wins list. Greg Biffle gets the job done here in Atlanta on fuel mileage. You see the final race results there on the left side of your screen. Pause when you would like to see everything, and we'll see the updated point standings in a few short moments. Now here's your updated point standings after 5 races in our Nextel Cup Series season. Jimmie Johnson still with a pretty comfortable points lead of 26 over Mark Martin, who has now been top 10 in every single race this season. Greg Biffle with a big win shoots all the way up to 3rd in points. Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart still looking really good, all top 5 in points. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, Kyle Busch now back above the cut line. Solid starts of the year for them. Carl Edwards in 9th, and Matt Kenseth now sits on that bubble for the final chase spot, just 3 points above your Daytona 500 champion, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Casey Mears, Michael Waltrip, Casey Kane, J.J. Yaley, for the first 5 out on the outside looking in, trying to find their way into the 10-man chase. Jimmie Johnson leads the points after Greg Biffle gets a big win here in Atlanta. And as we end this episode, as always, I want to give a special shout-out to my channel members. So thank you very much to Brendan Breen and Jeremy Isley. I really appreciate your guys' support. It means a lot to me and helps this channel continue to grow and do great things on our road to 1,000 subscribers. So those of you that are watching that have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. It's completely free. It only takes 2 seconds, and it really means a lot to me, and it would really help me and this channel continue to make great content. If you want to become a channel member, the link is in the description down below, or you can hit the join button. So until the next episode, I hope you all have a good one.